Hello students, welcome to KENE'S Educare, a group of KENE solutions. This is part 1 of lesson number 15, Improvement in Food Resources. So in this part, we are going to study mostly on with respect to food resources, okay? And over here, food resources are the one that is different types of food resources that we have, which we use to get the food, right? So how we can improve those food resources, we will be exactly discussing over here. Okay, now if I say you about food resources, I want each one of you to please know, like, write whatever you know about food resources. If you know that we already do this in every class, right? Whenever we start with a new lesson, whatever you know about the topic, I want you all to write that quickly. See, now whatever you are writing, we all know that all the living organisms have the need to, like, we all need food to derive energy for body development and survival, right? Because without energy we cannot survive. If our body is not developed, then that will ultimately cause some or the other problems in our body, right? So now the question is, how are we obtaining our food? How do we get our food? We get it through plant and animal sources, right? Through the practice of agriculture, animal husbandry, and there are a lot more, right? Poultry farming. So these are the ways of getting our food resources, right? So it is important to bring improvement in food resources to meet the ever increasing demand of the population. We know that the population is eventually increasing drastically, but the land scale available for agriculture for growing crop remains the same, right? So we have to make sure that we are bringing some improvement in our agricultural technique for growing the food crop, right? So this includes improvement of food resources, not only in terms of quantity, but also in quality. So we have to make sure that we are checking on to the quality as well as quantity of the crop that has been grown. That is, increase in yield as well as improvement in crop variety. This is what we are going to study in the lesson. Okay. So we need a sustainable practice in agriculture and animal husbandry to achieve this, because without coming up with this sustainable practice, it won't be possible, because we have to see that we are not compromising the environment and we are maintaining a natural balance as well. Because if we are improving our food crop, that should not harm the agricultural practices, or it should not harm our environment. The natural resources should not get harmed. So mixed farming, intercropping, integrated farming practices, these are some of the examples of sustainable and scientific management practices. Okay, I'm repeating it again. Mixed farming, natural balance, intercropping, integrated farming. These are all examples of sustainable and scientific management practices. Now, whatever introduction I told you, I want you all to please take that in your book. Write that in your own words. I don't want you to write in the same way. Okay? I hope every one of you have started writing this. I hope every one of you are writing it. I hope you have even mentioned about the sustainable practices in animal husbandry, because the improvement in this sectors are very important. And now, why only we are discussing about a specific kind of improvement in a specific sector? Because the lesson is associated with food resources. So whenever it comes to food resources, you will be writing about the improvement in those sectors, right? So now the first thing that we need to discuss is about the food. Now we know that food is going to supply us with all the basic requirements, right? Whatever whatever has been required for growth, development, and proper health, your body is going to get that from food, right? So food is a mixture of all nutrients, including all the five components that we have: carbohydrate, fat, protein, vitamins, and minerals. Okay, so you can write, like, give the heading as food and write in short about this food, that it is going to supply our body with all the vital components, including carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, and minerals. Okay, so do write this quickly, everyone. Once you're done writing about food, the next thing that we are going to discuss about is agriculture. Okay, so I want you all to complete writing about food, and I hope you all have written about it. Now the next thing that we need to discuss is about agriculture. Okay, so how can we define agriculture? See, it's the science or practice of farming, including cultivation of soil, growing of crops, and then rearing of animals to provide food, wool, and other product. We call that as agriculture. So how will you define it now? The science or practice of farming, including cultivation of the soil, growing of crop, and rearing of animal. And why this rearing of animal has been done? So that we can provide, like, so that we can have food, wool, and other product. So that is known as agriculture. Okay, so now this lesson is very easy. It's just that I want you all to have proper notes and make proper notes as well, so that you are not struggling for anything later. Okay, so please do write the definition, and this is what you're writing in your own words. We will be writing it while we discuss from the screen as well, so you will know the difference. Okay, okay. After agriculture, now can anyone tell me the sources of carbohydrate, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals? Because that is what we are going to discuss next. So I'll tell you some of the sources of each, and I want you all to please take a note of it. See, now sources of carbohydrate means from which food, like if you eat that food, which is the food that is going to provide you with carbohydrate. And you should be knowing that carbohydrate is also called as energy giving food. Okay, and protein is known as body building food. Now sources of carbohydrate, so we can have carbohydrate in different forms like sugar, fresh fruit, starch, vegetables, cereals, corn, potatoes, fibers, breads, pastries, milk, and milk product. Okay, so whatever sources I just told you, please take a note of it, everyone. After writing about the sources of carbohydrate, the next thing that you need to write is about the sources of fat. Now we know that if you're eating more of butter, cheese, cream, oil seed, like if you take like soya bean oil, groundnut oil, they are all sources of fat in our body, right? So please write that as well. Now, the next thing that you need to write is about the sources of vitamins and minerals. So, what do you think? Which food will you eat so that you get vitamin and minerals for your body? All the fruits and vegetables that we eat, they are the main sources of vitamins and minerals in our body. And some of the vitamins, some of the essential vitamins can also be obtained from meat and fish. Okay, so we will be studying in detail about this vitamin and mineral in detail. Okay, but that we will do when we start with the lesson. For now, I want you all to please write the sources quickly. In this lesson, like, this lesson is the easiest one and the last lesson for the whole syllabus, right? So make sure you know the lesson. You don't have to take like much time in completing the lesson. Okay, it won't take much time, so we will be doing it quick. Let's see. Okay, after writing about the sources of vitamin and minerals, I want you all to write the sources of protein as well. Now, as I told you already, that protein is a bodybuilding food, so you can get more of the protein. If we get protein powders, you can have dry fruits, you can have egg, meat, then you can have seafood, oats, soya bean, cottage cheese, yogurt, milk, broccoli. They are all good sources of protein. Okay, so please write that, everyone. After writing the sources of protein, have you ever heard of fodder crops? Like, what are fodder crops exactly? Fodder crops like bourseem, oats, then because they are been raised as food for the livestock, we call them as fodder crops. So just write in short about fodder crop, everyone. I hope you all wrote about fodder crop. Now the next thing that we have is kharif crop and rabi crop. I don't know if you all know about this kharif and rabi crop. Many of you might have studied that before. So kharif crops are the crops which are grown during monsoon. That is when we have like rainy season. So that is mostly between June to October. So there are certain specific crops which have been grown during monsoon season. Those crops are called as kharif crops. And always remember that why exactly these crops are grown during monsoon season itself. It's because this crops needs more amount of water, and as it will be monsoon season, it is going to rain, right? So the crops will eventually get more amount of water, and that is why crops like black gram, green gram, paddy crop, pigeon pea, soya bean, cotton, okay, they are all grown during monsoon season and are example of kharif crop. Okay, so I want each one of you to please write it. I hope you all have started writing about Kharif crop and you even got an idea what Kharif crop is, right? Now the next thing, once you complete writing Kharif crop, we will be writing about Rabi crop. After this, the next thing that you need to write is about Rabi crop. Like we are growing Kharif crop during monsoon season, right? Now the crops which will be grown during winter season, that is just after monsoon season. Okay, so crops grown during winter season from October to March, we call those crops as Rabi crops, and examples are like wheat, gram, peas, mustard, and linseed. I'm again repeating the example: wheat, gram, peas, mustard, and linseed. These are the examples of Rabi crops. Okay. I hope every one of you are writing about it. I hope now you have got an idea between like the difference between Kharif and Rabi crop, because that is what is mostly been asked. So make sure you know it. Okay. Now the next thing that we need to discuss is about crop variety improvement, because that is also one of the thing that we mostly focus on, right? How exactly we can improve the variety of the crop that we are growing. And our basic motto is improving the crop quality as well as the quantity. Now why we are behind increasing the quantity of the crop? Because the population is increasing, right? And the demand for food is also getting increased, and that is the reason we have to make sure that we are increasing it. Okay. Okay, so I hope you have written this, why improving the variety of the crop is important. Okay, so now the next thing that we have is hybridization. Now, you might have heard about hybridization. Now, this lesson is more about what we haven't discussed till now. Like, we have hybridization, we have three different types of hybridization that we will be discussing on. So, I want you all to write first what exactly hybridization is. You can write that hybridization refers to crossing between genetically dissimilar plant. What is hybridization? Crossing between genetically dissimilar plant is hybridization. Okay, and there are three types of hybridization. For now, I'm just telling you the definition, that it's the crossing between genetically dissimilar plant, and the three types of hybridization is intervarietal, intravarietal, and intervarietal, interspecific, and intergeneric. Okay, so hybridization is cross between genetically dissimilar plant. Three types of hybridization includes intervarietal hybridization, interspecific hybridization, and lastly intergeneric hybridization. So these are the three different types of hybridization which we will be writing on. But first, please write the definition of hybridization and then we'll proceed further. I hope you all are writing this. I hope you all are writing it, everyone. After this, after writing about these three types, intervarietal, interspecific, and intergeneric hybridization, see the first one we have written intervarietal hybridization. So it means between two different varieties, right? So you can define it as that intervarietal hybridization is a cross between two same species but different varieties. What it is? It is a cross between two same species but with different varieties, and that is why we call it as intervarietal. Okay. I hope you all are writing about intervarietal hybridization. After this, next is interspecific hybridization. It means over here there will be cross between two different species, but the genera will remain the same. So this type of hybridization is interspecific hybridization. Okay, I'm repeating it again. Interspecific hybridization is a cross between two different species but the same genera. Okay, so the species will remain different, but the genera remains the same. Okay. I hope you all are writing it. Now the next thing that I want you to write is about the intergeneric hybridization. Now always remember intergeneric is between two intergenic hybridization, but those intergenic hybridization will be belonging to different genera. So you will write that intergeneric hybridization is a cross between two intergeneric hybridization belonging to different genera. Belonging to what? Belonging to different genera. Okay. Now the next thing is about the genetically modified crop, if you have known this. So what has been done in GMC, we call it as GM crops, that is genetically modified crops. So when we are adding a desired gene, okay, to the genome of a crop, we call it as genetically modified crop. So how will you write this? You will say when a desirable gene is added to the genome of a crop. What will you write? When a desirable gene is added to the genome of a crop, we get genetically modified crop. Okay, an example of this genetically modified crop includes BT crop, BT brinjal, golden rice. Okay, so this lesson can be lengthy as well. I can't say, like, I'll show you the lesson, but it's still lengthy. Let's see. I hope every one of you are writing it. After this, the next thing that we have to discuss is about, we already discussed on GMO crop. Right now we need to discuss on factors for which a variety of improvement is done, like what is the basic need of improving the crop. So first and the most important reason that we have is to get the higher yield of the plant, right? So higher yield is one of the reason, improved quality is the other reason, that is the second one is, so that we have improved quality of the crop. Third reason is maturity duration, as in like when exactly the crop is getting mature. The duration should not be too long or too short. Wider adaptability. Now, the agricultural land on which we are growing the crop should be adaptable, like to different crops, because what farmers do nowadays, that they will be growing kharif crop during monsoon season, and as soon as winter season starts they start growing rabi crop, right? So that wider adaptability of the crop should be there. Then the crop should be biotic and abiotic resistant, okay, and desirable agronomic characteristics should be there in them, okay. So I want you to write all these points in your book. First is higher yield, second is improved quality, maturity duration, wider adaptability, biotic and abiotic resistance, and lastly, desirable agronomic characteristics. These are the factors for which a variety of improvement is been done. Okay. After this, we have crop production improvement. So under that, we have to make sure that the crops have been provided with proper nutrients. So nutrient management is one of the concept that we will be discussing under it. Okay, then we will be discussing about macronutrient, micronutrient in detail, what exactly macro and micronutrients are. After that, we know that farmers keep on adding fertilizers, manure, compost, vermicompost, green manures, right? Organic farming has been done, irrigation method has been followed. Okay, so these are the different concepts that we will be studying under this lesson, improvement and food resources. And after that, we have the cropping patterns to discuss. So there are three different cropping patterns. We have intercropping, we have crop rotation and mixed cropping. So these are the three different cropping patterns that we need to know. And after that, we will be discussing on crop protection management as well. So under crop protection management, we will be discussing on how can we protect our crop from pests, from you can say insects, from weeds. So like farmers keep on adding insecticides, weedicides and all, so that the crops are always being protected. Okay, so farmers will add this. If fungus are growing on the plant, they will add fungicides and all. So we will be discussing on the prevention and control of crop, like from because if the crops are been grown, they should not get damaged by any way, right? By any means. We will be discussing on that, and then we will discuss on animal husbandry in short. And under animal husbandry, we will be discussing on cattle, poultry farming, fishery, beekeeping. All this all comes under animal husbandry. So we will be discussing them all. Okay, so further, now I'm going to start with whatever that we are left with in the next class, not now, but everyone make sure that you have understood whatever we have discussed so far in the lesson. Okay, so now I'm going to show you all the slides that we are going to study. We are going to start with the introduction part first. After discussing on the introduction, we will be discussing on improvement of crop yield. How exactly the crops can be improved. So we will be discussing on that. Then we will discuss on the crop season, that includes Kharif crop and Rabi crop. We already discussed in short about these two different types of crops which have been grown, right? Then after that, we will be discussing on improvement in crop yield, where we are going to study three different activities which can improve the quality, improve the quality of the crop. So it includes crop variety improvement, second one is crop production improvement, and lastly we have crop protection and improvement. Okay, so these are the three main activities that we are going to follow, and then we will study about crop variety improvement in detail, and we will be studying about genetically modified crop in detail under this. Then we'll discuss on crop production management. Now crop production management will include nutrient management, irrigation and cropping pattern. So this we will be discussing under all this, where we have manure, fertilizers, and then lastly we have animal husbandry. Under animal husbandry, we have cattle farming to discuss. We have beekeeping and all, like poultry farming, egg and broiler production. Now egg and broiler both are different. Okay, so we'll be discussing on that. Then how exactly fish production has been done, we will be discussing on fish production. And under fish production, we have marine fisheries to discuss first. After marine fisheries, we will be discussing on inland fisheries. Okay, Then after inland fisheries, we have beekeeping as the last concept that we will be discussing. And then we have the summary discussion for the whole lesson, whatever we will be discussing in the whole lesson, like improvement in crop production. So we have the summary for that. And this is how we will be like ending up with this, right? After this summary discussion, let me show you what exactly we have to do. Is like we have few exercise question. I'll show you all the questions one by one. Please go through them, everyone, because you are the one who's going to answer at the end, so you should be knowing what exactly you are studying, right? I hope you all are going through the question that I'm showing you on screen. So this is how we will be ending up with the whole lesson, improvement in food resources. Now today, as this was just the introduction part to the lesson, in the next part I'm going to actually start with the lesson and we will be studying in brief about the lesson. Okay, so for now please revise everything and then I'll end this part. I'll give you 1 minute to revise. Please revise everything that you took note of, everyone. So I'll end this part over here and I will be continuing the rest of the part. Like I'll be starting with the part in the next class. Thank you everyone.